Bruce.
Hey, John. How we doing?
See what happens.
Yeah, right?
Yep. Got everything on the boards and yellow highlighted it and all that kind of good stuff.
Good for you. You look nice and smart.
See what happens.
Yep. Scott Byrne, is he gonna be here?
Yeah, he's here. He just went the other one.
Oh, so he's the guy who, what does he review? He reviews?
No. It's part of the planning part. He's, I forget, he's superintendent of something. He's, one of Tim Sykes' top people.
Right, so he sort of reviews everything with Lara.
Yeah, and because,
checks everything.
and because of this rear shed lot coverage thing,
that was
Lara stopped her plans tomorrow morning. I'm picking the stuff up from Peter.
Okay.
He didn't have time to say anything, so anyway. Well, nothing was gonna happen at 4 o'clock this afternoon
Yeah,
anyway.
but just
So,
wait, see if you can pick it up tomorrow.
I will.
How much you wanna bet he?
No, he said I could come by early.
Okay.
So anyway, put it over to Scott,
Okay.
and then he'll say
we
it's
got Lara, and then we
okay,
got-
and then Lara can get going again.
Right.
And Joe Kangor did not respond, so.
Right, so it's really gonna be Lara and Kendra. Well, hopefully those two guys can
right.
put this to bed, and we can
Right.
get this permit. It's just,
And I'll put a call into Tim Zyke also, because I don't know if he's in charge of their work schedule.
Right.
But of course, Tim wants this to happen, so
Yeah.
if he can like bump it up a little bit,
yeah,
so we'll see where that all goes.
yeah, exactly, that would be great. But I told the two sisters, but no, it's,
Nobody called you back?
well, hopefully you're first.
Well, we'll see. All right.
Didn't tell me he's electronic.
Yeah, you, my partner must have gone to the bathroom. I'm sorry, no worries.
Yeah, but they're talking back. You know, government, they never do things on time.
Somewhere at 8. We're supposed to play hockey at 8,
Uh-oh,
but this is more important.
well, we'll see.
Well, they're gonna resell it.
I don't know if you noticed, we started putting the color up on the east elevation.
Oh, did you? Oh, good.
Oh, it looks so
Oh,
good.
fantastic.
Looks so good. We picked good colors.
Well, you're using the same color as on the west side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It just looks so good
Oh, it's
together.
wonderful. Absolutely.
So, it's exciting.
Spent a lot of money.
It's like $650 a year.
Have a company come and start building up stock.
I mean, they all know what they're, they've already reviewed what they're,
Well, they received drawings in advance. I sent them everything
Right.
electronically. So now,
they kind of know what they're going to be looking at.
well, one coat.
Middle of the night, because when I was
So
delivering,
we'll see.
start trying to figure out why.
You guys still play hockey in May? It's late in the season, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we go indoors,
Oh,
up to Ice
this is
Works.
Beaver Dam or what?
Well, I used to play at Beaver Dam till March 15th.
Cleaner, Burns
Then
Cleaner.
we go up to Ice Works,
Oh,
which is up in Syosset.
In Syosset,
An
yeah.
indoor rink. and
right, right. Isn't that where the Islanders used to practice?
They used to,
Yeah, yeah,
yep, yep.
Liner.
And then they built a new facility over in Westbury,
yeah. Ah, okay.
so it's fun.
Yeah?
You know, get
Just
some exercise.
Don't break a bone or crack your head.
Well, I've done,
You have.
We have
I've broken
fireside,
bones and I've cracked my head.
My soul's not there anymore, but
And I had once a concussion, ended up in the hospital.
It's a rough game.
Well, you know what it is? It's fast.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you get your head down, someone, you're not
Yeah.
watching,
Mhm.
it can be,
Right,
so you gotta really pay attention.
yeah.
at the street.
And it's very, very fast. So
Yeah.
you're skating fast, the puck's going fast,
Right.
you gotta think fast.
Right, right.
So,
Where it is in the back of the house.
oops, sorry.
Usual seats.
I am here. Sounds good.
Okay, great. I'm sorry? Okay, well, we're ready to go. Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is the May 11, 2021 meeting of the Town of Oyster Bay Landmarks Preservation Commission. I would like to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay, Mr. Byrne, would you like to take a roll call?
Certainly. Chairman DeLeo,
Present.
Member Chabina,
Present.
Member Leonard,
Present.
Member Gold,
Present.
Member Stone. Member Byrne is present, and Member Collins is present but has recused himself for both applications for tonight's hearing. You have a quorum, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. We have Two items on the agenda tonight. The first one that we have up for presentation and discussion is 12 Prospect Street, Oyster Bay, the Maria Powell House. Do we have anyone present to make a presentation tonight?
Yes.
Yes. Come on up. We ask that anyone, either who is present or on the phone, please, before making a comment, state your name, what your interest is, if you are associated with the project as a professional or if you're a resident. And there you go.
Chairman, we have some correspondence on this, if I could go ahead and read that.
You want to read the correspondence? Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
Yes.
We have correspondence from John Bonifacio dated May 10th, 2021. We have correspondence from Harriet Gerard Clark, Executive Director of the Raymond Hall Museum, dated May 10th, 2021. We have correspondence from Denise Evans Shepherd, Executive Director of the Oyster Bay Historical Society, dated May 11th, 2021. We have correspondence from Richard Weir, dated May 11th, 2021. Chairman, both the commission members and the applicant have received copies of these correspondence prior to tonight's meeting, and they have been made part of the permanent record.
Okay. Thank you.
Stand here or here?
The microphone would be great.
Yes,
So-
it is live stream, so if you can make your presentation, just stay in the vicinity of the microphone so anyone watching at home can hear you, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
So basically, we've been retained to restore the property back to its original condition prior to the fire. There was a fire that caused damage to the roof line and mainly the right elevation of the home.
Okay, I don't mean to stop you, but just, can you state your name?
Sure.
And company you're with for the record?
Yes. My name is Ben Berkowitz. I'm with East End Construction and Renovation.
Okay,
And
thank
I'm the
you.
contractor.
Okay, Mr. Berkowitz, please, go ahead. Thank you.
So as I was saying, we're basically restoring the house prior to the fire damage back to its original condition with some minor changes. The color of the siding or the cedar shake, which will be replaced to the same kind it was, we would like to paint it white, and the gutters right now are like a maroon, and we'd like to make them a black.
Okay. So let's take a step back. So this is the fire damage. So this was, fire was what, January?
I believe so.
Okay. Just to, going from sort of a starting point, the damage, was it secured? Is the house safe, watertight, everything?
Right now, it's watertight. It has a tarp on the roof. The house is secured with locks. It's not in jeopardy structurally of, collapsing or anything to that degree. It's cosmetic at this point.
Okay. The fire damage, was there second floor damage? How much of the exterior would you say was damaged in the fire?
The engineer estimated the total damage to the home at about 30%.
30%, okay. And that's roof, siding,
On the exterior, we're talking roof, siding, windows. On the interior, the house is gutted down to the studs.
okay, for the exterior, any of the material that has been damaged, is any of it salvageable?
Yeah, the exterior of the home is cedar shake, and I would say about 85% of it is salvageable, and there's going to be a repair done with the same product in the area of the fire damage.
Okay, so when you say salvageable, the material that was on the house originally, is any of that salvageable, or are you putting in replacement material?
So the material on the house is salvageable, nothing is wrong with it on about, I'd say 80% of the house, even 85% of the house.
Okay,
There's just a small area where the fire exited the front window and on the right side of the home.
okay, so that, in that 15% that's being replaced, can you describe what you're replacing the siding with, and what it is and what the similarity is to what's there, as
So the-
well
the
as,
s-
and
the
then
s-
just same thing for the roof and the windows?
Okay. So the current roof is an asphalt roof, and we'll be going back with an asphalt roof. And the siding itself is cedar shake, and we'll be going back with cedar shake. Both materials are available. So we're able to replace with like kind and quality.
Okay. And how about the window?
So the windows that are currently in the house are double-hung vinyl window with grills. And we're obviously able to source the identical windows that are in the house currently.
Okay. Okay, and as far as the colors, you just describe again for me?
Sure.
What it is and what you're going to.
Okay. Right now, the exterior of the house is a sage green, and we are going back with, from the historical collection from Benjamin Moore, Monterey White HC-27, and the shutters are currently like a maroon, and we'll be going back with the historical collection HC-190, which is a black. And the roofing would be GAF Timberline charcoal asphalt.
Okay, as far as East End construction, in terms of restoration of landmarked historical buildings, what type of experience do you have with this? Is this your first project, 100th project?
On the historic end, we worked on one other property in Glen Cove, and it was the same situation where we replaced cedar shake with cedar shake. Same issue with the roof line with the exposed roof rafters with no fascia board, and the, decorative curve toward the rafters on the left and right side of the property on this one. But there's no real detail in the roof line or anything that's inaccessible as far as materials. I think it's going to be, fairly easy to replicate what they currently have.
Okay, is what you are proposing to reconstruct and repair, is the proposed finished product going to be different visually in any way besides the replacement of materials? Like roof line, will it be the same? Will there be any addition?
Everything on the exterior will be the same. The only difference is we're trying to change the colors of the siding and the shutters. Visually, the house will look the same as it does now.
Okay.
Are you replacing the shutters on the second floor? I noticed on the plans, there's shutters on the first floor, but not on the second.
So the reason they were left out, the shutters on the second floor were damaged by the fire.
Okay.
I can replace them. I just don't currently have the exact shutters that were on the home. If it's a necessity for me to put them back, I would just have to source them and get something, as close as possible to a match. That's where the fire exited those windows.
Okay.
So the firemen damaged those. I believe we have a few of them that may be salvageable, but where the one window on the right side of the home was burnt in the front right, they were definitely not salvageable.
On that side of the house where the fire was, the studs on the exterior walls, did you have to replace any of them, or were they buffered by the?
It's mainly the roof rafters on the second floor because of the way the gable end is on the house, that's damaged. There's not really, on the front wall, it's very minor as far as the damage to the studs. The fire burned up.
So you did need new rafters, though?
Yes, the rafters were compromised on the roof.
With most fire damage, more often than not, it's not the flame and fire that actually does the most damage, it's the smoke and the water, and then the future problems down the road.
Yes.
are you, taking the proper procedures to seal, any of the existing wood or lumber, make sure that, that we're putting on it to prevent mold and future issues?
So all the lumber will be treated with an antimicrobial to prevent future mold growth, and then it'll be shellacked with a product that will seal the wood and encapsulate any odors from the smoke or any damage to that effect.
A question on that, there are 2 windows that are being replaced?
There are 3 windows that are not currently in the house on the front, and I believe one on the right elevation. Those are definitely damaged where they have to be replaced. The other ones have to be inspected to see if any heat or any damage caused any of the seals in the sashes to be compromised.
And are they all the same manufacturer's windows at the
I
front in
can,
the
I can
house?
source the identical manufacturer that's currently in the house.
And that's what's in the entire house?
Yes, and they're definitely still in production, so I can get those.
Those were vinyl replacements,
They are.
like an Anderson replacement?
These particular windows, I don't believe the brand is Anderson. I can get the exact model off the sash if need be and call them out on the plans.
I mean, if they're a vinyl replacement,
Yeah.
obviously they've already, some of the historical value might have already been lost, previously. But
Understood.
Do you happen to have any photos of the way the house looked prior to the fire?
Prior to the fire, yes.
It'd be good to compare those, prior photos.
I have prior photos, I have photos of the fire damage. This is prior to the fire, and these photos show some of the fire damage, and they show the existing windows and detail on the roof. So in the photos, I took pictures of the detail of the roof line, showing the rafters that are exposed, and the decorative ones that I'll have to replicate on the side of the home.
So just a quick question on the, to what extent you're planning on removing material sort of along the damage, the line between what's been damaged and what's still okay. Is there, can you tell me how much of a, maybe call it a loss factor you're anticipating? Is there, you're cutting out good, clean material in sort of creating your repair?
So basically, in fire repair, anything that shows any sort of char or what we call scaling, the wood's integrity has been compromised and is no longer doing what it should be doing structurally, that has to be replaced. Anything that doesn't have anything other than maybe discoloration will be treated with the microbial and also shellacked.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the fire damage pictures as compared to what was originally there. And just, I'm looking at the one photo in particular where the, looks like where the electric service comes into the house. There's obviously some damaged portion above, at the window and above the window, both the shingles, roof line and roof. But then as you get, it looks like more towards the, I'm not sure if it's the front or back of the house. Looks like there's, where that electric service comes in, it looks like it's okay. Is that area going to stay? Or are you starting your repair, I guess? And I'll show you the picture. I don't know if you can See which one I'm looking at?
Yes, that's near the peak above the window.
Okay. So, for example, in this picture, how far down would you go to remove, if you want to,
I mean, if I were to guess approximately, it looks like about 4 feet from the ridge,
4 feet from the ridge, okay,
the shingles would have to be removed.
yeah. And the same
Sheathing.
thing with the roof line?
The roof line, to be honest with you, depending on the damage to the rafters and the plywood, that will be replaced, but you don't cosmetically see that. That'll be underneath the
Yep.
shingles, and the only thing that'll have to replicate is any of the exposed rafters that are decorative. On the
Yeah.
right and left side of the home, there's cosmetic 2x4s with a little scallop to the end of them.
Yep.
They don't have any structural integrity. They're just there for decoration.
And you're going to
Replicate that.
replicate that, okay. Okay,
Luckily, there's nothing super ornate or anything that I can't source.
Okay.
That's pretty basic. It's all workmanship on regular nominal lumber.
okay.
How, this is a kind of a combined question with the building department, but, so you have bedrooms on the second floor. So some of these windows that are being replaced are, they're egress windows. But just looking at the size of them, as a double hung, I don't believe that they could actually meet the requirement.
Are you saying, is it the letter E on it?
I see E's and I see R's, so I'm assuming the R is replacing
Yep,
and E is existing?
yes.
So some of the Rs are located in bedrooms. So, just as a coordination item, I don't know if those are required to be, how that works in the building code, if they need to be, upgraded to an egressable window, which you wouldn't be able to accomplish with a.
No, they would have to be 37.5 by 60, which would be a larger size.
Obviously, yeah.
than the
I don't
current
know
size.
If that's something that, be noted for the building department, if that's waived, that requirement.
I would only assume, being that it's historic and they're not trying to change the exterior, one thing that I do know that they're going to require me to do is they're going to require hardwired smoke detectors throughout and carbon monoxide detectors. As far as the egress, that's something that they would use their discretion on.
I believe fire damage, if you're replacing just a window, it can be the same exact size, but just a note.
Okay, anyone else have any questions at this point? Before we ask for comment from any residents or anyone else who's here?
I just want to make one other statement.
Sure.
Unfortunately, obviously, this fire happened. This wasn't a renovation that they were proposing to do. And the insurance company has a limited amount of time that they'll provide housing for them while this project gets completed. So if there's any sort of expediting or understanding of trying to get the renovation started, it would be appreciated by the homeowner so they get back in their home.
Understood. That obviously is something that, as understanding that is relevant to the timing of this. If do you know how much time they have? Are we working with like a week, or are we
Yeah,
working with a month?
No, it's odd. The insurance company basically has an understanding that building permits can take anywhere between, from the date of the fire till we actually get a permit, 2 to 3 months. And then I'm usually limited to what their policy allows. There's a dollar amount in everybody's policy that you're limited to, and it won't exceed that no matter what. So I really am under the wire with trying to get the project started.
Okay, understood. Okay. Mr. Berkowitz, thank you very much. Sit tight. Might, come back to you with some more questions. Do we have anyone in the audience who would like to speak, offer comment on this project? Yes?
Should they come up or?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Please state your name.
My name is Sarah Count. I am the Preservation Director at Preservation Long Island. We're located at 161 Main Street in Cold Spring Harbor, New York. We are the regional advocate for historic preservation on Long Island.
Okay,
So of course, this is a designated landmark of the town of Oyster Bay. And as such, there is a lot of documentation relating to it back when it was designated. So I have some examples of the house before, going back closer to the time of its designation. So also there's, photo documentation of the fire damage, and then lots of other examples in the record. So first I wanted to, congratulate the owner and applaud them for repairing this structure. It's an important designated landmark of the town, so it's important to protect it to the extent we can, even when we have something like a fire happen. It doesn't necessarily mean that we should completely, knock it down and start from scratch. So I have seen examples across Long Island and other places where that has happened. So that's wonderful that they're willing and able to do this work to restore this really important historic resource. I looked over the plans, and it's not clear to me the extent of which is being replaced and what is being kind of removed. And I think we would like to see a little bit more detail, because they're sort of just boxed out in repair, and it seems like it's the whole top section of the building. From what the gentleman explained, it seems like that's not the case, so, which is wonderful, because I was under the impression like the whole thing's coming off, and it will all be sort of repaired. So what we would recommend is more clarity in terms of what is being retained, conserved, what is going to be replaced specifically in the areas, because it really does matter. In an instance like this, what we're looking for is something along the lines of the Secretary of the Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties. And those are available on the National Park Service website. They're really detailed, they're very clear, they're a wonderful resource, and they can explain the sort of standard steps for doing this kind of project, and what the expected treatments would be, and the sort of levels of detail. So in this case, it's obviously going back into use as a home, continued rehabilitation of the structure. So we're not expecting a museum quality repair, but to conserve as much of the historic fabric as possible is incredibly important, because that's the stuff that can't be, of course, replicated. It can be matched and repaired in kind, but to keep as much as we can. And then also the decorative styles that are defining characteristics of this particular structure should definitely be retained. And some of the plans weren't quite clear about if that is the case. So maybe a rendering would help, I'm not sure, but just a little more clarity in those plans. Yeah, and I think that's it. Thank you so much.
okay, thank you. Okay, do we have anyone else who would like to be heard? Okay, Mr. Berkowitz, can I ask you just one or two more questions? Okay. So, I know we were talking just before, getting an idea of what is being removed, what is being maintained. We just heard a comment of, with respect to detail in plans and renderings and things like that. The one thing that I do think is relevant in terms of providing some more detail, Secretary of Interior standards. Have you in the prior project in Glen Cove that you mentioned, or even with this one, have you put together any sort of I guess detail or answer for, or response to Secretary of Interior standards. That, I think, might be relevant, and obviously understanding the time concern. If it's something that you might be able to put together in terms of, the standards and just responding on what you are doing, or what, if it's calling for a percentage or calling for treatment or whatever it might be, if you can just, put together a little response so we can, have it for the record. Obviously, we have a structure that, to your point, doesn't have intricate detail, but it has important detail, which is important to preserve. So what we would like to do is make sure, and from what you said before, it seems clear to me that it's not a situation of just, clear cutting and putting a full new roof on. From your responses, it's clear that you're focused, and that's important. And we want to make sure that that's the limit. So if we could, maybe within, I don't know, Scott, when can we sort of reconvene on something like this? A week, 2 weeks, keeping it tight,
Yeah,
kind of a tight schedule?
typically, we would ask the applicant's representatives to resubmit. Once I receive them, we'll check the availability of the room and the board members' availability, and then we'll schedule something as soon as we can.
So, okay, so what I think, and, we can check in with the other board members as well, if we could put together something, some sort of response to Secretary of Interior standards, if you can submit maybe a rendering of sort of the areas of detail, I think that would be helpful. And we can keep this on a short leash and bring you back here just to make sure that, we're all on solid ground.
Understood. Stuff like, as far as the percentage of shingles on the exterior that I'll be replacing, and,
Yeah, I think so. We have a record just so, when if and when we approve, we don't want to give, just say, a blanket approval and say, good,
ahead.
go get it.
Understood.
We want to have sort of a game plan, right? And if we have some renderings, Secretary of Interior standard responses, we can detail our approval and say, okay, this is what you're working on, this is what is being removed and replaced, and we're good to go.
okay,
Just so we can be specific,
understood.
So that's my thought. Anyone else have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think some of the important areas for you to focus on is the rendering, definitely, but the rendering solves some of the questions in terms of, colors and whatnot for us to see. I heard you mention the historical colors, so that's perfect. I don't have any issues with that. But, when you look at the drawings, there's a lot of stamp pat or, I won't call them cookie cutter, but, pretty general details in terms of attic eaves, air sealing and different eaves and bird mouths and things. And these details are not consistent with,
I understand.
the era of the construction. So I think when people see plans and details like that, we start to think, oh, wait a minute, are they changing the eave details? So I think the architect could maybe revise the plans, pay a little bit more
Attention to the detail.
specifically those eave details. And I think that, really, that's where I think a lot of us are concerned.
Yeah, I'll call those out, showing that we're going to replace the detail of the eave to the same that's existing now. I'll make sure it's called out on the
Yeah,
plan in a little detail.
I think it's an easy enough detail
Yeah.
for them to put together and represent, and then, maybe update some of the other details that are, are more typical
Generic.
of today's construction. So, that, and I think also, if I'm not mistaken, the original, photo did have those shutters on the windows. I think it's important to, I know it's a pain to maybe source those shutters, but if that's what was originally there, I think we should, show those on the building elevation.
Okay.
And include those as well. And, on the drawings, the architect could also add, just a little table of those historical colors and, and again, it's more of a record of exactly what,
Completely understood. I see where you're going with it.
Yep.
All right?
Okay. Anyone else have any questions, comments, thoughts? Yes, sir. We have another audience member. to provide comment. Just wait a second. We'll clean that off. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? My name is Stephen Johnson, I'm the homeowner.
Okay.
So really what I just wanted to come up and say is kind of put a human spin on this. So this fire has been devastating to my family. We live in Oyster Bay, but we're not living in Oyster Bay now. So that's kind of been a really big issue for us. The school district's been great, but really at the end of the day, whatever we need to do, we just want to get home as soon as possible because we have a special needs son, and this has been a devastating thing for him. So whatever you can do to kind of push this along, we'd appreciate it. We definitely want to keep the house to its historic nature and, do whatever we need to do to make that happen. But if there's anything you can do, because first of all, Ben's right. We're living in a house that the insurance company is paying a crazy amount of money for, almost $10,000 a month, because there's no inventory out here because of COVID. So that's been a big thing, and that's probably gonna run out in December, and we're not gonna have any place to live. So I guess my only ask is if we could just get this moving. We were held up by the insurance company. We just wanna go home and we wanna take care of our son, who's been drastically impacted by this. We've had to take him to a child psychiatrist, change his medications, and it's been an awful, awful, awful ordeal. So anything you can do, we'd greatly appreciate it. We want to do the right thing from a historical nature. I'm a history buff. I want to do that. I'm proud to live in a historic home. So whatever we can do, let's make it happen.
Thank you. And sorry, obviously very sorry to hear about the fire, the situation your family is in, and the hardships you're going through.
No, I appreciate it.
That is not lost on us.
No, I totally appreciate it. It's just that, it's been, you know how it is with insurance. It's
Sure.
just one thing after another. So we just want to go home.
So I think the best thing to do, and I'll make a motion for this in just a moment, is to revise the drawings, the renderings, answer those Secretary of Interior guidelines and standards, get it back to us, and we can get something back on in short order.
We would love, if we could get something on the books, that would be great. So I know that Ben will do his best to make that happen, but it's just really important. It's really difficult to have a special needs son who now is no longer living in the district. We have to drive him and pick him up from school every day. The school's been great about it, but, he's on the autism spectrum and he's got a whole bunch of other disorders, and he was home when the fire happened. So
Oh, boy.
it's just
Okay.
been it's been a really bad thing for him. And we want to restore normalcy to him as soon as possible. So thank you for listening to me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Do we have anyone else?
Hi,
Sir.
my name's Tim Lee, and I just been listening to all of you and the homeowner and the contractor, and I'm the owner of Schnauders, and I specialize in historic restoration, and I just wanted to offer some clarity on the detail that this nice young lady brought to the Secretary of Interior to make sure the contractor's clear, and I thought I could just offer some advice on what's missing in this puzzle, so he can get what he needs and you can get what you need, which is, it's the details of exactly, for example, the profile of the molding on the window or the profile of the molding on the roof edge, the rakes. If you get all those profiles and you can match up, so all you'll need to do is take a piece of molding, cut it, draw it, trace it, get that to the architect. That's what you have to follow, all right? As far as shingles go, it's not just how many square inches or square feet or what percentage, it's the spacing of the shingles, the spacing, the width of the shingles on the house, and exactly the thickness of the shingles the material of the shingles, the cedar, it's all those finite details. So, you know, I think that's really what the secretary, then to preserve as much of it you can. So if you have a big piece of molding, you're not cutting the whole thing out just because it's easier. You save as much as you can. Okay, so I just thought I'd offer that as a helpful piece of information.
Thank you, Mr. Lee, appreciate it. Okay. We have anyone else? Okay. I would like to make a motion to extend the hearing for the applicant to submit some additional detailed plans, renderings, response to Secretary of Interior standards with the detail that was just discussed, and then reconvene as soon as possible to continue and continue to look at the application. So that's the motion. Do we have anyone seconding? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay, are we unanimous then? Seems that way. Okay, so we're going to continue, and if we could just get that, the items that we just mentioned as soon as possible, that would be great, and we'll get this right back on. Okay, thank you. Okay. I know we have a second matter on, which is Snouter's Drugstore. Let's just give a minute or two for the applicant to come back in and just get coordinated.
I think we're ready. if you
Oh,
wanna do
John, I'm
that.
sorry.
John
I saw
Collins.
Mr. Lee leave, and you're hidden from my view, John, behind
I was hiding behind it.
Okay.
John
Hi.
Collins, 20 Sampson Street, Oyster Bay. I'm working with Tim Lee and his investors in renovating it. This is the third time we've been back to you. We got an initial approval for the front facades, and then we came back a couple of months ago about the changing of the detail of the shop windows. As most construction projects do progress, things come up, and when they were working on the wood shingle roof, which I'm sure all of you saw and recaptures a nice historic feature of the building, when you're up on that roof, and I admit I've never been up that high, you can see the water from up there. And you guys, in the initial presentation, had approved this little shed dormer on the north slope of the roof. This is the perspective rendering that you received electronically. And the amendment that we're presenting to you tonight is to see if you would consider, because it is a little bit visible from the public way, in the center section of that new north dormer, to raise the roof a bit to create a roof deck. And in the collection of drawings, and I can show you on the boards, there would be two roof decks. There's two north-facing apartments on the third floor. And what we'd like to do is take advantage of that water view up there. The north elevation, which nobody can see really, unless you're on the private property of the Matinecock Lodge. This one area on your right here is the shed dormer on the South Street side, and then on the Matinecock Lodge right of way. So in the center is where it bumps up. What happened, and what I hope you guys would consider is the initial design, because I'm a sailor, I thought maybe what we'll do is we come up these interior stairs, I would have a marine kind of a hatch with a little sliding thing. Well, my friend Joe Cangro and the plans examiner say, no, you have to have a full stairs and railing and all of that. So that's where these two little things kind of crept up. It wasn't the original intent, but for code compliance and all of that. So you do, full disclosure, when you're coming down South Street heading north, you'd see these two little bumps, above the ridge. They are set back about 2 feet from the ridge, and the intent is that they would be shingled to match the roof, and in 6 or 9 months, they would weather gray like the roof and read more like a shadow. It wouldn't be this great, thing staring in the eye in any kind of contrasting color. But admittedly, my hand being forced that I had to meet the code, I had to do these covered stairway enclosures. So do you guys have any questions? Again, here's a plan of the roof, and the shed dormer that you proposed was here. It was going to run all the way across the building steps back. And so what I'm doing is cutting into the dormer in the middle here. The left side and the right side is the original approved dormers, and then this just fills up the west side. But it's happily, because the floor levels change, the level here is not higher than the shed dormer. And I'm not sure if you guys had seen. So this is the west elevation, what you'd see from the Tennecock Lodge side, but it's a very foreshortened view. You guys had approved this little shed dormer, but what I'm doing in effect is cutting into it, and all you would really see is a railing. But this roof edge, if you know the building, sticks out about 24 inches. So, and then this is set back about 3 feet, so you barely see that. But that's the impact if we were to be able to do these roof decks. So put it out there for your consideration, and hopefully you would think that it's not compromising too much of the look of the building. What we did too, and in this photograph, I had Tim and his foreman go up on the roof and set up some wood frames measured off the plan. And I took the photograph and then did an overlay for the perspective rendering. So this is quite accurate about what you would really see should it be built. So we did a dry run, a mock-up, a true size, and then did the rendering based on that. So that's what it actually would look like if you were over by the deli or Snouters looking back, or then Nobbins, if you were looking back at Snouters. So I don't think the impact is too dramatic, and we're asking whether you guys would consider approving that.
Okay. Thank you, John. Well, first and foremost, just to take a step back, I think, the restoration and the work that you're doing, John, and what you're
Tim Lee is doing.
what you're overseeing and causing, Mr. Lee, is fantastic. I think it's great. Very happy with everything that's going on. It's going to be it's really going to be a good, when it's finished, terrific piece of downtown Oyster Bay. So we're very happy with that. Let me ask you, John, the decks, they are facing, they're north facing.
Right.
So that they're not, the decks themselves are not visible from street view, or barely.
Well, the only thing that's visible, and that was
The
my
rail.
highlight here,
Yeah.
is that little bump up, which is about 20 some odd inches, is higher than the roof line of the adjacent shed dormer as you get closer to South Street.
Okay. And are these decks, are they attached to any specific unit, or are they,
As in the dwelling unit?
within, just so I understand sort of what they are? Are they generally accessible, or are they particular to one or two units?
So here's your roof plan. Here's the tower on the West Main Street side and the South Street side. Here's the ridge of the roof with the 3 chimneys. And when you get behind the ridge, as you're starting to slope down, there's about 2.5 feet before I cut into the roof to create the level area. So there are 2 roof decks, but separated by the shed dormer. So there's a little privacy between the 2 tenants in the 2 different apartments.
So each deck is accessible just by the tenant in that
Only by the
specific
tenant
unit?
in the
Okay.
apartment immediately below. Right.
Okay. Yeah, to be honest, the decks themselves, I don't think I'm all that concerned about. it's the stairway enclosures that are definitely, you know, they're visible above the roof line. You're gonna see them. You know, that dormer that we approved is, you know, it's more low profile, and I don't think it's visible above the roof line. So I know you mentioned you were thinking of, you know, originally a different approach to the stairs. Is there anything that you might offer that's a different solution? I'm sure you've thought hard about it, but is there anything else that you can think of that might be an option that might reduce the visual impact?
Well, I mean, in your package of drawings, I don't know that I put it on my board here, but I included a cross-section, so you could see how I can get this, because I'm raising the roof level, I need more risers in the stairs, so it has to turn angles. The apartments are relatively modestly sized, so they're at landings and angles and what have you.
Yep.
So I've got to figure out how to get up there, because I think it's about 11-foot ceiling or 12-foot ceiling. They're fairly tall. And as I say, the plans examiner forced my hand to say, no, you know, you got to have the railing go all the way up, and when you get to the top, you got to, you know, be able to have a full door. You can't crouch down and, you know, release a catch and slide a hatch and all of that. That was my first, you know, desire to keep it low profile and a little maritime and all of that. But that didn't fly through the building department. So, as I say, it was not my first choice, and it's a bit of a dilemma, you know, because the plans examiners have building code requirements, you know, they don't have any latitude really.
So if you're going to have the deck, we need to have that stairway
Exactly,
enclosure.
right.
So
Right, you have to be able to get up there and get up there
they go
safely.
together.
And get down safely.
They go together, and that's it. Let me ask you this, is there any way, design-wise, to try to blend, and I'm not sure where I'm gonna go with this, to blend that structure? You know, I'm looking at drawing A7, which is, right? So as you look at it, it's just, you know, the one on the right in particular is just very angular, and it's not even that it's existing, it kind of stands out to me as just different from the, you know, the feel of the structure and what's going on. Is there any way to maybe somehow change that design to sort of blend it in?
If it were more like the one on the west, you can see on A9, the north elevation, I've got dotted lines of where the stairs are and landings, and as I turn, you know, I don't want stairs to cross windows, and I'm trying to preserve some floor area in the apartment. So
Yeah.
from a design standpoint, it's a bit of a challenge. I would love it if it was more like the one on the west, where it's the narrowest profile is there, not the side view, which is the wider one. I mean, we could wrestle with that a bit. We'll have to go back to the drawing board and reconfigure the stairs. But if I was able to do that, does that become more acceptable then?
Well, I think it gives us a little better, yeah, I think it's a better option. I mean, obviously, we need to see it, and, you know, we don't want to waste time or sort of derail anything that's going on there, but at the same time, you know, I think we really should try to explore any option that would make it as the least visually intrusive as we can. And I understand the dilemma.
Right.
But, you know, at the same time, we want to, you know, you're doing such a great renovation of Snouters. I'd love to see it somehow blend in a little bit differently.
Yeah, so on,
And I don't know if that's possible.
yeah, I mean, if you look at A4, it's possible, this is the area where my problem is. As I come up the stairs and I get to the center of the building, I'm going parallel to the ridge, and it's longer. If I started the first step below the window, even if it crossed a little bit of the window, and I took out 3 or 4 steps or more at the top and added them to the bottom, I think that might achieve the end. That might be a fairly easy and straightforward revision. We can do that.
Mr. Collins, is there any way to possibly make it so that the bulkhead enclosure isn't there? In other words, you'd leave the third floor to an exterior door and have an exterior stair go up to the roof, and then you'd only need a 42-inch
Well,
guard
it's-
around the stair,
Well,
which
it's on
wouldn't...
the third floor, so I can't get an exterior stair. And the building fills the entire lot. So there's no place to put an outside stairs. Another random thought is, if the first step in the apartment, in this unit E, if I started where the top is presently shown, if that was the first step, in effect, if I reversed the stairs and it came up on the north side, you wouldn't see it from the street. Then the downside is that enclosed stairwell is kind of blocking the view. The whole purpose of being up there is you want to see the view. You don't want this structure to, be.
I can't see, is there access between the two decks for just
No,
one
no.
entrance leaving and split it
Above
outside?
this bedroom, Cliff, is a shed roof dormer. The low shed roof on the South Street side here,
Right.
and then it's interrupted with this higher deck, and then you go back to the shed roof in the center, and then to the west side, because of the change of the floor levels, this is a different level. But they're separated by this shed dormer.
And under the dormer, there's living space then?
Below that is the bedroom, yeah.
Is there maybe a way, so, you have a common stair that, is it, if I'm reading this right, there's a common stair that heads
You
up?
looking at the third floor plan?
Yeah, so on A4,
Yeah,
is this a common stair that heads up, and then you've got the unit D, the single-bedroom unit to the left,
right.
and the other unit E to the right?
Mhm.
Is there a way to maybe work a common stair from that landing up, which would be centered in the building above that, so you lose some space out of that bedroom?
Yeah, it's a
Unit E.
really little bedroom even as it is.
Yeah, but then you pick up, so there's a common stair that you can get up, maybe even if it's a switchback or something,
Yeah.
dead center in the building, and then, on the roof deck, you can get
Right.
to the left and the right. They share a common stair up into their units.
Right,
Maybe they share a common stair, and then you get the space back
yeah.
from the stairs in each apartment.
Yeah.
And then, maybe that stair, that bulkhead, whatever it ends up eventually being, maybe it's a little bit more minimalist, and centered in the building and less visible from the sides, I don't
I
know.
guess the owner, what do you think about that, Tim?
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
It might be possible
Yeah.
to come up the main stair instead of have
Right.
another stair going straight up. And then, like you said, so both apartments can use a common stair.
Yeah, and then, that's valuable square footage that you would gain back in the living units. So that bedroom could, maybe shift the hair, or maybe you rework the layout a little bit so that you reallocate that square footage.
Or I could creep that bedroom, if I'm losing 3 feet on the west side of that bedroom, if I creep the door in the closet over,
Yeah.
and so the bedroom nets the same number of
Yeah,
square feet.
tuck the closet
But,
underneath
yeah.
the slope
Yeah,
of the ceiling, of the stairs, yeah.
I do have level changes because the east and the west decks are at different heights. But that.
But you could address that up on the roof itself, probably.
It does achieve the end of, there's only one enclosed thing, and it's further to the north, further away from the ridge, and therefore less visible.
Yes.
And obviously, bear in mind that a mechanical drawing shows it to its worst advantage, because, nobody's looking at it from the level of the ridge, you're looking at it from the street, so perspective,
course, yeah.
you're not gonna see it as much.
No.
And they are a couple feet back, but you will see it, they're not gonna be totally invisible, but they're not gonna look as terrible as on a mechanical drawing. Cliff?
John, what is the height difference between the ridge and the deck? I mean, will people be able to look?
36 inches from the roof of this to the ridge is about 3 feet.
No, but I mean, when you're on the deck, can you,
Oh, it's a
besides the water
6'8",
view, if you,
door,
you'll,
and then I've got another 10 inches for
you
framing.
can't see the front of the building, you can't see over the ridge from the deck.
Yes, if you
You-
were standing there.
You'd
it-
you'd see
it-
their
there's a
head.
it's about 4.5 or 5 feet. It's more on the west side than it is on the
That's,
east side.
I'm just trying to get a sense. If I'm up there,
If a
not,
person was standing there, their head would be above the
their
ridge.
head would be there.
Their shoulders and their head would be above the ridge.
Any other questions? Do we have anyone else in the audience that would like to offer comment?
Maybe I'll just say a few words.
Sure.
So I appreciate, the goal to try and minimize the view from the street, and I think, Patrick, that's a great idea. I think John, you got to watch it. I think you got a new competition over here. But, I just wanted to say also that this hatch that John first designed and it got bigger, we're going to use some of the roofing shingles or materials of the roof, so it's going to blend in, as it ages with the patina and color of the roof. And, I think I'd be happy to work, with John to work out the center staircase, if that's something, you could accept. I think we could make it work, and I do like the idea that actually, in one of the apartments, you gain more space. So I think it makes a lot of sense,
And Mike, because you're going to be meeting very soon about 12 Prospect, if we get our act together and submit a revised drawing for this amendment, maybe we can be on the quick agenda, because
Yeah.
obviously they want to try to get the permit and get on with it.
I mean, is it possible, because I'm just going to ask you, we've been waiting a long time to try and get the interior permit going. If we're willing to go with the single staircase, is that something you could approve possibly this evening?
I don't think we could approve it this evening without actually seeing it and just sort
Okay.
of, going through it. And, obviously, we're focusing right now on the visual impact. And you mentioned the materials, and I really don't have any doubt that the materials you're going to use, given what you've been doing already, are going to match and be appropriate. We should put that on the record, obviously, but I don't think that's the concern. We just want to make sure that it is it has the least visual impact as possible. So,
Fair enough.
definitely improving on it is the goal. We've got some good ideas. I think, yes, John, if we can, get it all together and get it back in, I'd like to try to put it on as soon as possible.
All right, great. Thank you, Mike.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right, so if there are no more questions or comments, I will make a motion to extend the hearing pending updated drawings in line with what we've just discussed. And as soon as we have them resubmitted, to try to get this back on as expeditiously as possible. Okay, so I make that motion. Do we have a second? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
I
Okay,
really appreciate the dialogue and the feedback, and as an applicant, instead of being on the other side of the day, getting a sense of direction from you guys, because I can't tell you how many of these type meetings I go to, and the board never gives the applicant the direction and the help, so that when they finally come back, it's closer to getting the final approval. So I really applaud, the working dialogue here. It's been great.
And we just really like seeing your beautiful drawings, because these are amazing.
all right, so we're continuing the hearing, and if there's any other business that anyone would like to discuss, bring up. If not, I would like to close the hearing. So I make that motion. Second?
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Okay. Unanimous. We are closed for the night and to be continued. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right.
Nice meeting. Well done.
You know, it's so difficult to try to, manage